Welcome to another episode of Behind the Studs, your home improvement and remodeling podcast, where the two most entertaining guys discuss the do's and don'ts in home construction and in the remodeling industry. Remember that you can nail it, paint it, or just tune into the show. How about that? Here are your hosts, Colin Shaw and Jimmy Driscoll.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Behind the Studs. Hey Jim.
Hey buddy.
How are you, bud?
That's a loaded question again, and it's a beautiful Tuesday. Yeah.
It still feels like a Monday.
Doesn't it feel every day is a Monday?
God.
Yep.
They just haven't changed.
Nope. Not at all.
No, I don't know what we're gonna do.
No, I haven't had. I'm not. I'm done. Put a fork in me. That's all I have to say. I'm glad I'm on the show.
Yes, I'm glad you're on the show too, because it would be kind of boring by myself.
Right? Yeah, I don't think so. I
Hell
think you can hold your own.
You think so?
I think we should test it out. I'm going to get my cardboard cutout.
Great.
Next to you. Oh, that'd be so funny.
That would be funny.
Yeah. And just, what do you think, Jim? Yeah. Okay. That'd be great.
Another excellent point, Mr. Driscoll. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
What's going on, man?
Not too much. Staying busy like you.
Yeah.
So, and I swear every time we go to start a project now, it's like we find tons of rot and we don't have time to do the rot now. It's like, it's just snowballs effects.
I know.
But anyway, enough about us and our complaining.
We got a guest today.
We do. We have David Sellinger on the podcast. He is with Sentinel, and we're going to learn a little bit about security stuff and things to protect you during the holiday season when you get packages delivered to your house. So it's going to be kind of cool.
That's pretty cool. He's a security guy.
David, how are you?
Hi, David.
I'm good. Thank you guys for having me on.
Absolutely. We appreciate you coming on. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So, as you mentioned, I'm the CEO of Sentinel. Personally, I grew up in a little tiny town in Oregon called Grants Pass. I actually grew up in a suburb of Grants Pass. Grants Pass was the big town with 15,000 people. I grew up in the town of 300 people just outside of that. Called Merlin. If you've heard of that, congratulations, you and your 4 other friends.
I take it that it was a very high crime area with the 300 people. That's why you decided to do security.
Yeah. The good news was it was always your neighbor, right? Like it's
right. It's pretty easy to figure that out.
I just borrowed it.
How many kids in your graduating class?
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at him.
Really? It was just you, huh?
No, I my parents transferred me to the big school district downtown. So we had we actually had a decent sized graduating class. My sales like 200 people.
Wow.
So, but pretty small.
Yeah, I went to a small high school. It's in Westbrook, and 87 kids in my graduating class. And that was the biggest one in the history of the school to go through.
Shut up.
2 years after us, the next group was 25 kids.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So you didn't even have a football team because the marching band was like 2 people.
Right,
like
exactly.
So whoever's ever in the marching band had to put on their football uniform to get back in.
He played the kazoo for a little bit and then went running over to the other side. Yeah.
You got pom-poms out too. You got to do all 3.
Right. Yeah. Do a little bit of cheerleading too. Sure. Absolutely.
That's hilarious. Oh my God. That's pretty funny.
So then how did you get out of that big town of yours?
I was really fortunate. My folks were real supportive of me. I'm a computer geek by trade, and so they helped me kind of find that I wasn't the only computer geek in the world, which I was in that little part of the world. And I got to go to Stanford, studied AI and robotics there. Got my butt kicked when I learned that the whole rest of the world was a lot bigger than Grants Pass, and there's some real competition out there. But then I got to be a part of some amazing companies out of that. So Stanford was kind of a bridge and a gateway. I got to join Amazon in the early days. I ran the first artificial intelligence research team there called Customer Behavior Research. I worked directly for the Jeff, and that was pretty awesome. Then I started a real estate company called Redfin, which is that's a public company now. And then I started another AI company. And then about 5 years ago, I started Sentinel.
Wow.
You're dangerous, dude.
Yeah, busy.
It's been a fun ride. One of the most fun companies, though, honestly, just was Redfin. I'm a big fan of real estate and homes, and just kind of turning the idea of real estate to be something that was accessible to people. It's kind of like with the whole DIY revolution is about, like, your house for many, many years has been kind of this thing that you hired a contractor or somebody to do something. Not that you shouldn't do that still, but peeling back the layers and making it accessible to the regular person. That's what we did for real estate. That was super fun to make that something that everybody could be kind of an active participant and educated about, maybe just enough to get a little dangerous, you know?
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, familiar with the company. Wow, that's great.
Yeah, really. You have a very impressive record, my friend.
Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't for you, Amazon probably never would even be who they are today.
Could be.
Right?
That's right.
Might not be.
I like to
You know
think
what we
so.
were talking-
I tell Jeff that every time I send him a bill. He hasn't paid it yet, but someday.
Well, maybe he'll let you go take a ride in the
I was just gonna say,
aircraft.
Next time before you go to the moon, could you please stop by and just drop a check off? That'd be-
I keep getting
Really
this
greatly
message back
appreciate
every
it.
time I send him a message. So it says this recipient doesn't receive messages from you anymore. I don't know why.
That's crazy. Yeah, I'm
Almost
sure you
like
can
he's
figure out a
blocked
way
me.
to get past that. Yeah, you can work around it. I'm sure.
By the way, I worked on your spaceship.
Yeah.
I suggest you send that check right away. I'm going to send you to Omaha.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Nice.
Imagine.
Nice.
Um,
So tell us about Deep Sentinel. What is
Yeah.
what is that?
what's going on?
Yeah, so like I said, my background's in artificial intelligence. I got really interested in home security about 5 years ago. I had just kind of started looking around, seeing what my next company might be. I was doing a bunch of AI research, and my neighbor had a home invasion. And that was, to me, that was one of these moments. It was like a real come to Jesus moment because she had alarm. She had a high-end alarm, actually. She was paying a lot of money for it. She had high-end cameras. And the moment, like I remember it was, we had pulled together the neighborhood watch. And I'm kind of like the nominal captain of the neighborhood watch. And so I was talking to the police officer. We'd invited the police department to come talk to us. And I asked, how did this happen? Right? I mean, she's done what you tell us to do.
Mhm.
And the cop looked at me and said, well, what'd you expect it to do? Her alarm wasn't armed because she was home.
Mm.
And what'd you think the cameras were going to do? And he just like deadpanned me, looked me right in the eyes. And I
Wow.
realized at that moment, like the emperor is naked, basically. Like we've all been kind of eating this food that says, this is the best thing you can have to protect your home. And a cop looks you in the eye and says, well, what'd you really expect it to do? And I just realized, oh my gosh, I had this belief that I was doing the right thing for my family, when in fact, like these things aren't designed to solve that set of problems. And those are the problems that matter to me. Those are the problems that are happening. Is I really want to protect. I've got 2 little girls at home. I want to protect my family.
Mhm.
I look at like where crime is going. It's all going in towards like package theft and theft off the driveway, catalytic converter, auto burglary, mail theft. And the things that we have don't do that. And about 6 months later, I had this aha moment as I've been digging into it for my family. Oh my God, this research I'm doing in AI, that can help me solve this problem in a way that is new. It's the only way to actually prevent crimes from happening. And so I envision Deep Sentinel, and our mission now is to make people safe and actually prevent crimes.
Okay, so how does it prevent crimes?
Yeah, that's the $10 billion question. How do you actually prevent a crime?
Exactly.
So-
Yeah.
It turns out, and I think it is really like a $10 billion question. It's like the security is this massive industry that doesn't actually prevent crime, right? And I'm just mind blown as I dug in deeper and deeper. The only thing I care about, again, like very personal version of this story, is the only thing I care about is preventing the crime to my kids. I watch all these videos on the internet about Ring cameras. Look, I caught this guy. The dude already finished stealing all your stuff, breaking into your house, and is leaving, and you gave the video to the cops. That's not catching the guy. The guy caught you, right? I mean, congratulations, right? And and I watched video after video after video of that, and I realized the only way to actually do anything was to intervene early. And you see a couple videos like that where somebody's like happens to be looking at their phone when somebody's breaking in their house, and they intervene. And so the question I asked myself was, can I do that 100% of the time at a price that's affordable to everybody? If I could do that, if I could make that kind of personal bodyguard, if you will, affordable and make it so that it can work on every home in America, that would be what I'd want to do. And so I spent the next 4 years building a system that does just that. So you come up to my house. In fact, just a couple of minutes ago, my delivery guy came up to my house, dropped off some stuff for my backyard, and within 2 seconds of that delivery guy coming onto my property, I had a live guard watching him, making sure that he didn't steal something. That live guard sent me a quick message, said, "Hey, you got to deliver on your front porch. Go pick it up and take it in." And the guy stuck around a little bit longer, so he was just hanging out on my porch. The guard speaks over the camera. "Hey, I see that you just delivered a package. What can I do to help you? If you need something else?"
Wow.
And that's the magic moment. If that guy's there to commit a crime, that next line from our guard is within 10 seconds, "I need you to get off the property. Get away, get away, get away." And, and so Deep Sentinel is all about intervene early, tell people to leave. We monitor 24/7. And really, at the end of the day, it's just about prevent.
All right, 1 second. I need to go back real quick because I know people are going to be asking this, unfortunately.
Yeah, for sure.
You said that your neighbor got robbed in a home invasion. So were they? Do you think they were casing her house? Did they? And they knew she was home, and they decided we're going to get in because she's got stuff that we want.
Well, dude, here's the worst part about this video. So she had the camera system, right?
Right.
They were sitting outside in front of her house for like 5 minutes getting ready. And then as I went and I talked to the police, every single one of these videos that I've seen, like they're sitting outside getting ready for minutes. Not like spur of the moment, 10 seconds in and out. That happens. But most of the crimes that I see, you have all this time while the people are getting ready. They're casing the place outside, and you just have to intervene early. And that was really appalling to me, that when we got down to it, we showed the video to the police and there's nothing they can do about it. You've got 4 guys, they're all wearing masks and you can't see their face. And yeah, they were outside for 5 minutes, but you didn't do anything. And they went in and then they come out 2 hours later and there's
2 hours later.
Yeah.
So they held her down or whatever, tied her up or whatever, and they went through her house and took everything.
Yep.
Wow. Like she wasn't a statistic and murdered.
Yeah, I mean, thank goodness she was safe. But I mean, you're still looking at this situation where you had 5 minutes where if all you said was, "Hey, I see you, get off the property," the whole equation, the whole story of that woman's life has changed.
Got it.
And
I got it. Yeah,
that was the magic moment that I realized was the whole premise of physical security right now is after somebody breaks in, detect it, and then try to call somebody and set up a siren. Whereas if you can just go zoom back in time 5 minutes, the amount of energy required to stop that crime is tiny. It's like an ounce of prevention is worth 1,000,000 pounds of cure.
Mm-hmm.
So there's somebody that's monitoring your cameras. Is that how that works? Or this is AI that's doing it? How does that work?
Yes and yes. And the reason is, let me start with what's necessary, right? So you got to get a person to do the work. At the end of the day, we have instances where we say, "Hey, get off the property." And the guy's like, "No, you're a robot." We say, "Okay, I'm a robot. Now get off the property." And so you gotta you play with these criminals a little bit, but you have to have a human being that's able to interact with the person, verify that they're not the right person. Like, what if it's the homeowner that just happens to be taking a leak on their front porch at 2 a.m? I don't want to call the police on that person. Okay, I'm raising my hand too. I got you. You want to say, "Oh, that's you. I got it. You're okay. You're verified." Then we got to be able to contact the law enforcement authorities, and that really is where a person is especially important. If you think about like a burglar alarm, when ADT calls the police, "Hey, I've got a motion alarm in the living room, or I've got an open door," that's all the information they give to the police. And that's not surprisingly why this cop was so disappointed when we expected the alarm to do something. It turns out most calls to police, in fact, 95% of calls to police from alarm companies are false alarms.
Right.
And so
right.
Police departments don't respond at all.
Mm-hmm.
Again, mind blown. I thought that cops had a special relationship with my security company, and to find out that the only relationship that they have with the security company is to do their best to ignore the calls. That was bad news. Bad news bears. When we
for sure.
we got a live guard, right? hey, I've got
Mhm.
a guy sitting out in the front porch. He's banging on the door. I've asked him to stop 5 times. The homeowner's not home. I need an immediate response. And when we do that, we give the police everything they need to respond. A description of the crime, a description of the suspect, a description of their location. Do they have weapons? That's a call, right? That's what cops are sitting there waiting to get that call to go
Right. Mhm.
and save the day.
Mhm.
And the proof is in the pudding, man. I mean, probably one of my favorite interventions we have. We had a guy who was known to the homeowner, and so the homeowner let us know, I have an active threat. This guy shows up at the home, bangs on the door, won't leave. We tell him to leave, he doesn't go. We contact the homeowner. The homeowner's like, look, man, I am inside. I have my sidearm in my hand, and I do not want to get this guy away from my house. Right. And I mean, like adrenaline, the whole bit.
Oh,
We call
yeah. Oh, yeah.
and are called to the police. I have a 6 foot tall white male, no shirt, covered in tattoos, known to the homeowner, not leaving the property. Homeowner's on site, afraid for his life, and he's armed. That guy was in handcuffs in 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
Wow. Wow.
That is the moment that I built this company. That's the thing that you can't get anywhere else. And that's why we have these guards. And that's what, that's what Jeff Bezos already has. That's what Mark Zuckerberg already has. They have these guards. What we did though, was we brought in the AI to make it more effective and affordable. And so we can provide this as a service to every homeowner in America. And, you don't have to be a billionaire to afford getting your own private virtual bodyguard. That's what we do.
So what happens? Like you buy the camera from your company and you set them up, or one of your techs sets it up and then makes the connection with your guards. Basically, is that how that works?
We got 2 approaches. One is that you can get it professionally installed. We've got 300 techs across the country. They'll do professional installation for you. We also have a DIY kit, and that's why I'm excited to talk to your audience, especially, right? Is we've got wireless cameras that you can install yourself. They're like Ring, like Arlo or Nest. They take like half an hour. And as soon as you set them up, you pop on your phone and you say, connect to the guards, arm it, and you're armed. And you literally walk outside after you get our box. 30 minutes later, you walk outside, you wave to the cameras and you say, hey, I'm a new customer. And the cameras talk back to you and they say, hey, my name's Aaron. Welcome to Deep Sentinel. Thank you for trusting us to protect your house and your family. Is there anything I can do to help?
Jesus. Wow.
That's the magic moment. And that's that's why the AI plus the humans, the answer to your question is yes and yes. The AI makes it so those guards know where to look, when to look, so they're on point. And then the people are what makes that magical experience.
All right. So let me ask you this next question. I know it's just the security, but for instance, you go outside and it's the winter, you slip, you fall, you're unconscious. Would the guard catch that, see that, and call 911 and get an ambulance to the house?
Not only theoretically, but yes, absolutely. We've done it numerous times. We've seen families go running out of their house and smoke coming out of the door. And we call the fire department. We're the first on scene to call the fire department. We have elderly customers who've tripped and fallen on their front steps.
Right.
Well, the neat thing about having the human in it, right? I mean, I'm a tech guy. I like the AI. The AI I'm passionate about that. But I mean, when I watch these videos, right? Hey, I just saw you fall. Are you okay? Right? I just witnessed a fall, and I'm gonna stay here with you. You can't reach your phone. That's okay. I'm right here. I'm on the camera. I'm good. I'm not going anywhere until you're up and walking around. You tell me to go away. I am here with you through this whole thing. We had a guy who thought he heard his trash cans like getting it was raccoons. Just I'll get to the end. But he's freaking out, right? He comes outside with his baseball bat, looks up at the camera, and our guard's like, "Hey man, are you okay?" He's like, "Look, can you just stay with me while I go out here? I'm gonna check my trash cans. I can't tell what's going on." It is that amazing combination of there's technology in the background, but what we're creating is we're using the technology to connect you to a human being instantly. That's
great. No, that is awesome.
Wow.
That's security.
So the system, it basically does a 360 around your property. Is that what it does? So you can see
so you can pick however many cameras you want. Like I obviously have, double digits cameras around my house.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
you know somebody, you can get a good deal, I'm sure. So yeah.
I mean, some of our customers, they have 3, some have 2. Most of them have between 4 and 6. Like the average property has between 4 and 6 on a residential side. And then on the
Yeah.
commercial side, our businesses, they'll have between 6 and, some of them have as many as 50 cameras that we're watching.
Wow. Now, how many cameras can or customers can one guard, take care of? I mean, that seems like an awful lot of work for one person.
It is, I mean, that's where our secret sauce is, and that's why the AI is important. Our magic number is just over 100. And so,
That's a lot.
when I say AI making these guys really powerful, like 100 is a big number, right? To be protecting 100 products at once. When you walk into the Deep Sentinel offices, I'm based in Pleasanton, California. You walk into our front office in Pleasanton, the first person that greets you is the statue of Iron Man. Because that's kind of our model of
Nice, I like that.
Right? We take these guards,
Yeah.
we take these people, we train them, but then we give them the technology to not just protect 100 properties, but to do it in a way that is just badass. It is better than anybody else out there.
Your cameras, do you make them on site to get them from overseas, or do you make them in the United States?
We support both models. So we both support our own cameras that we make ourselves. The wireless ones, we manufacture those ourselves. It's our team in China, but they're manufactured in China. It's all our specification. They were all designed through our engineers.
Right.
But we do import them from China. It's almost impossible to manufacture that type of stuff in the US, unfortunately now. By the way, if anybody's listening and wants to do that, like I'm all in to help make that happen. It's just it's very hard to get the supply. It's very hard to get any of the labor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Facilities.
Which is why we don't do the chips and everything else here too. I mean, it's
I would
too
be
hard.
so all in to help somebody get that done in the US. This guy named Andy
It seems
Grove.
like it should be done.
Yeah, I mean, Andy
Can
Grove
I
is
share one
the
little
original
piece?
CEO of Cisco.
Can I share?
Said we need to do it, and I need to do it.
Yeah.
We can do it. I'll do it all
Yeah.
day.
Can I share one little piece of information for you? And you may know
Sure.
this, but I just found this out. Before COVID, I went to Morocco. I was on vacation, and they were talking about China and how China is cornering the market in technology and everything else. Well, in your cell phones, in every cell phone, there's a mineral that's used,
Yep.
and China
Yes, sir.
owns all the mines that makes that piece for all our phones. So
If
just
it
to add
makes
to
you
that,
feel
just
better,
like
they also ship over their own labor on boats, and they own the roads that go to those mines. So, yeah, they've got it cornered.
Great. Even better.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, we
Right,
do
so you know.
support our cameras. We support a bunch of other cameras. We do support cameras that are made in the U.S. There are some that, we're watching kind of the legislation around cameras in the U.S. We do support a bunch of third-party cameras. So if you have like power over internet cameras already installed in your home, and you already have those, it's likely that we support them.
Do you work with drones at all?
Wow, there's a good question. Let me just put it this way. There are certain things that are confidential information that we've not publicly disclosed as of yet. And I may or may not be part of that.
Okay, because Colin and I were talking actually last week, because when you brought it up, like Amazon is really talking about taking drones now, of course, as we know, and delivering packages. And I thought that right from the beginning, is that really a great idea? Because can't you clone a drone with a box and a bomb and drop it off and take somebody out? You know what I mean?
There are a lot of problems with that approach, I think.
Right.
I mean,
I think that's one
sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Still,
But it hasn't gone through yet.
Exactly.
So there's too many bugs.
there's a lot of evil out there.
Yeah.
So did you used to watch the TV show Person of Interest?
I did not. Sorry.
No? All right.
I was too engrossed in what he was doing, man. You don't have time to
Basically
watch
the premise of the show, it was a great show too, is a guy built this computer system that listened to phone calls and was tapped into video and everything else, and it learned people's behavior, and it could predict when somebody was going to be murdered or was going to commit a crime. And this guy would get a phone call and they would just give somebody's social security number and then they'd go and find that person. So
Holy
I'm like,
smokes.
it's kind of like this. Yeah,
I mean,
it was pretty cool.
It is. I mean,
Watch
one
it.
of the things though, I mean, it's kind of bordering on a political discussion, but I don't think it really is, which is, I think it's really important that we're run as a private company. And I think it's really important that we're run as a private company with a single mission and a customer who pays us for that mission. So not like Google, where you're getting something for free and you're the advertising fodder, right?
Mhm.
Our customers pay us to do this, to protect them. And so for us, you know, while we partner with the police, we partner with the governments, we know crystal clear, our customer is you, our data belongs to you. You don't have any questions about where our loyalties lie. We act in agency for our customers. And then that whole kind of concept of big brother is 100% under your control, under your direction, under your payment. And that to me is so important.
Brings up a great question, because I was going to ask this before. You know, all these other companies like Ring and a bunch of other camera companies, Wise, and I think there's another one out there. Nest. They've all been hit with you know, through security. They've all been breached. How do you eliminate that with your company?
So there's two key things that we do. Number one is, unlike all these other companies, we have a special high encryption hub. So a piece of hardware that sits in your house, which is where all your data are stored. And so unlike us, where, you know, Ring, you can hack a cloud and then you get access to everybody's information. Your information, there is information in the cloud. We do use the cloud. Let me just say that. But the majority of your really sensitive information, so in my house, and for anybody who's actually watching this, mine's right here, right? I mean, that hub has all of the video for my house. And in order to get into that hub, you have to hack into my house, then you have to hack into that hub, and then you have to hack into our code. And so it's a much more kind of robust security infrastructure that we built from the get-go. And then secondly, because that device is a high computational power, we're not cutting corners, right? That's a full-on secure computer. And because of that, we don't have to do kind of a small version of software that maybe cuts some security corners here, cuts some security corners there. We run a full security stack on that device in your property. So we don't have that same level of exposure.
Right.
Well, I mean, I guess, you know, if you think about it too, if somebody hacked into it, what are they really getting? They're just getting pictures of your yard or your car, or
it's like something they can hack in to get your personal information, your, you know, whatever, your bank accounts, your credit cards account, and stuff like that. That was because my question was, how much is in the cloud? Now you've already explained it's almost like you almost have like a hard drive in the house, and that's where all the information is really stored.
You literally do. It is not even almost. Like you do. We do have some in the cloud. We have to store stuff in the cloud, but the majority of your information sits in your home.
Right. Wow. So, all right. So let me just paint a scenario right now. You got the system set up. Everything's going good. Bang. There is a blackout in your town. We lose power. And you've got a new zombie apocalypse.
No, not the zombies.
Oh, you know,
geez. Bigfoot's coming too.
Something stupid, a riot or whatever's going on. Are you battery powered at any point? Or is the system down when you lose power?
So we do have battery backup that we run. One thing that a lot of people don't realize is our infrastructure runs on the same power grid as our homes. So like, for example, cell towers go out after about an hour and a half. And so, you know, people are like, well, do you have cell backup? And, you know, yeah, sure, you can last for an hour. So in the zombie apocalypse, I got to be honest with you, like, we are not designed for the ultimate zombie apocalypse. For riots and and stuff like that, though, we were very effective. We had in this last year, we had a lot of customers in LA. And what that's particularly helpful for is two things. Number one, we're tied straight into the 911 system. And number two, because when we call into the 911 system, we're calling again with that verified call for service. We get straight through all the noise of all the other calls that are coming in those situations where our 911 infrastructure is getting taxed. It doesn't mean you're going to get, you know, presidential level of service necessarily, but you're going to go straight up to the top of the list. And, you know, that's about as much as you can ask for in those types of situations.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I would imagine if your home has a generator, then you're still up and running.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So you're good as long as you get that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I live in California, so I get to test out the zombie apocalypse about 3 times a summer. It's shut down.
Oh yeah.
We're going to get retitled as a first world country anytime now. But while we're still here, I get to test it. And, at the end of the day, what I've learned is that I have full power backup in my home, and that works fine. I have power backup specifically for my Deep Sentinel system. But eventually my cable and my cellular backups all go down because those entire chunks of infrastructure, they have like an hour to sometimes 2 hours of backup.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
Well, very cool. It's very cool.
It's so funny. Just talk about security for a second. Some people get those signs and they think they're really cool. They put up the sign, armed by Smith and Wesson, which my friends I got cops, friends, and they're like, those are the first houses they hit because they're going for the guns. That's exactly what they're going to go for. Is the guns.
Yeah.
And I mean, you got your people that are ridiculous gun owners, and we're never getting rid of them in America. We know that. I mean, a responsible gun owner knows a couple things. Well, number one, don't advertise, right? You're not helping anybody by doing that. Mm-hmm. But number two, a lot of our customers are cops and other forms of responsible gun owners. We have tons of judges, DAs, cops, 3-letter organization members who are our customers because they know. And in the event that somebody, let's take your kind of zombie apocalypse version, or a mob is approaching my house, the number one thing that's going to keep me and my family safe, time. If I have a gun, I need the 10 seconds to go get it out of the safe. If I keep it unloaded, I need to load it. If I keep it on safe, I need to get it off safe. I need to get myself into a mental state to prepare myself to deal with the situation maturely and responsibly. Time. And if there's one thing that Deep Sentinel gives everybody, and that's why we have so many gun owners as customers, is time. Because if you own a gun, the worst thing you can do is bring a gun into a situation where you're unprepared. Right? That's the single most dangerous thing you can do.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And so, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, all I need is a gun. You don't need a gun. That's not all you need. You need to be prepared. You need time to deal with the situation, and that's what we do. So I'm stoked about that too, because it's not like we don't view guns as an either or. They really are. This is the best complement to a gun owner who's conscious about security.
Well, I like the idea of this. The fact is, and you brought up a great point about usually when people are going to hit the house, they prep 5 minutes outside the house.
Jeez, right?
So basically, if there's a car sitting out front that's parked, what alerts your guard to say, hey, there's a car sitting out front, they're still in the car, there's no action. What do you do? Do you alert the customer? Like if we're
let me tell you, man, people are so much more brazen than that. They're not sitting in the car. Frequently, they're like unloading bags and tools onto the front porch. Like, wow, people are so accustomed to dumb cameras. They are so used to like, all right, whatever, you've got me on your video with my mask on, I'm just going to keep going. There's nothing that a camera does not deter criminals. What we typically see is people will be like, literally like you're unloading your groceries. They're treating your house like it's theirs. I'm going to go back to my car 2-3 times. I'm going to go get my tools. I'm going to go get my buddies. Maybe I got one guy on lookout. They are full on like prepping your property for 2, 3, 5 minutes at a time.
Wow. Interesting.
It is. And so, I mean, again, typically what we see in those types of situations, we'll see 2 to 3, 4 guys, almost always guys. We do catch women from time to time, but it's 2 to 3, 4 guys that coming up to the property, and you say, hey guys, can I help you? What's going on? And it's just 180 and gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. It sounds like a great system. So good for you. Congratulations.
Well, thank you guys. I mean, it's the pride and joy of my career for sure. If you've got folks that want to learn a little bit more about it, the place I would like super legit is our YouTube channel. 100% of the videos on our YouTube channel are real. We stop crimes every day, all day. We have a video series that we run every week. We just broadcast. Here are the top 5 or 10 or 20 crimes we stopped this week. Check them out.
Wow, very cool. I can definitely check it out for sure.
That's something.
All right, so we got the holidays coming up, and people get a lot of packages delivered to their house. We've all seen the news programs of people running up onto somebody's porch, taking their package and running. There's a lot of Grinches out there. So, what are some of the things that our listeners can do to protect themselves?
So, number one is I'm not gonna benefit myself with this one. Is something that's called crime prevention through environmental design. Cops call it CPTED. And what this means is, in security terms, don't be an idiot, right? Like, Don't put a huge hedge in front of your front door so nobody can see your front door. So after Amazon drops off a package, someone can go back there and steal it and not ever get seen from the street. Put lights on the front of your property. Put motion detecting lights on your driveway, right? So I'm the CEO of Deep Sentinel. I believe strongly in what we do. My house has 20 plus cameras on it. I've also got 40 plus motion detecting lights all around my home. I've got them all up and down my driveway. I've got them on my back walkways. I've got them along the back line of my property. And so security is like a multi-layered thing. So the number one thing I would recommend to everybody, and these aren't expensive things, these are just design your property, think about your property from the perspective of a criminal. Number two, most police departments right now are feeling a little under siege, right? I mean, it's been a rough couple of years for police departments.
Yeah.
And so every one of the cops that I work with, like, they are doing everything they can to reach out to their communities. And the second thing I would recommend, honestly, is if you're in one of those communities, reach out to them. They would love to hear from you. Hey, would you come by? Most police departments have a crime prevention division. Come by my house. Come by my business. Tell me what you would advise. And what's neat about that, you might think, oh my gosh, I'm a tax to my police department. That's their objective, right? Our police departments need to rebuild these bridges to our community. We need to rebuild our bridges to our police departments. And having a conversation like that is actually wildly valuable to most police departments, and they'd see it exactly like that. So I would reach out, right? Hey, I'm concerned about, I just want to be prepared. Yeah. I would recommend, well, I'll do my own jab here. While you do that, tell them about Deep Sentinel and ask them if they think that would be helpful, right? And they may tell you, you know, in your situation, it's not, they won't, but they might. and then they might just say, oh my God, that's the most amazing thing I've ever heard, and you should get that. That's what they'll say. So, you know, I would definitely reach out to your police department. The crime prevention divisions that I work with are all like, they're such human beings. You can relate to them. All they want to do is help their community. And so I would definitely do that. The next thing I would do is when you get your deliveries, don't leave them on your porch, right? The other thing that we see consistently is that the people that advertise, right, protected by Smith & Wesson, you're just putting signs out that say like, hey, here's the place. People that leave packages on their front porch for like 24, 36 hours, they are advertising. And so don't do that, right? Take them in, get your cameras on, get your alerts. As soon as you get home, come pull them in. It's the type of thing that somebody doesn't have to do a lot of heavy duty casing of just driving by to know which of the houses that always have big packages out front.
Huh.
And then get to each.
I remember. Yeah, of course. I remember growing up and people saying things like, you know, be careful what you throw away in your garbage can. Make sure, you know, it's hidden. Don't have like a box, you know, that says flat screen TV on it. You know, put it in the garbage can because people are going to know, hey, he just got a flat screen TV.
That's right.
Time to go knock on that door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take that TV. Yeah.
So interesting.
That's actually a good point. The other thing that we've seen a lot of, this is less to do with the package setup, is ring checking, doorbell checking. So criminals have turned your video doorbell from a security device into an occupancy check device. Meaning that what we see a lot of times from customers that are moving to Deep Sentinel is they'll send us this ring video that they have or other doorbell where the guys come up to their front door and rung the doorbell not once, not twice, not three times, but like for like 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes to make sure there's nobody inside, there's nobody but paying attention to their video doorbell. And that's like, I mean, that's like an invitation, right? I'm not home and I'm not paying attention. You got as much time as you need.
Wow.
There was a scam that was going on around here a while back where there was of course, it was like a van and there was dropped off a bunch of people who were all in on it, which had clipboards and just like, you know, shirts and ties, whatever, walking around and like think you were doing a survey or something, but they were casing houses out. Yeah. And then have somebody down the end of the street with a pad or something. If they saw a car driving up the street, they would alert the guy who's already breaking into the house. Somebody's coming, get out, you know, and then just jump back into the van.
It is.
I'm sure you've seen a lot of stuff.
These guys are. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's two like that we're seeing now. We haven't seen as much of that since COVID because not as many people are going door to door. What we're seeing a lot of is what I call auto burglary agriculture. And what I mean by that is these guys will pick a neighborhood and they'll come back every Tuesday. And instead of like wrecking the cars that they're breaking into, they're really careful. They just go and they check the door on every car. They don't make a mess. So you don't even realize your car's been broken into. But whatever the one valuable thing is that was in the car, they take that one thing. And they go to your neighbor, they do the same thing. And the reason I call it agriculture is because they kind of treat it like agriculture. They're harvesting. They don't want to over harvest. They don't want to damage the crops because they're coming back next week for some more. And so lock your doors. That's the other one. I always forget to say that. It's so basic to me, but lock your doors. The number of people that don't lock their doors. We had one customer. Don't raise your hand. We had one customer called me, and he's like, "Man, thank you so much. My wife left her Maserati unlocked, and she left her key in her Maserati, and you guys caught the guys before they broke in and stole the car." And I was like, "Dude, I don't even know what to say to you that you have a Maserati in your driveway unlocked with the key in it. I mean, you're welcome, but like, dude, don't do that. Don't do that."
Yeah. Point one.
Wow.
Don't leave the key in the car. Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Wow.
I got one quick story I can tell you. This is way back in the day. This is back in the early 80s. A person that I knew in California was up here when I was living in New York City and was telling me the story about, this is when the LA Rams were in LA, okay? Way back in the day. So basically they lived in a cookie cutter neighborhood, like all these houses that were all the same, the cul-de-sacs and everything else. Husband and wife have two cars. They left one car at home. They left in the other car. They came home. The hood of their car was popped open. There was a note on the door. They went over. They saw the note on the door and said, "We're sorry. It was an emergency. We had to take your battery. We'll return your battery. God bless you. Thank you so much. We're so sorry. We'll be in touch." Right? A couple days later, they come back home. There is a brand new battery on the front door, at the front door, and there's a note on the door. And it says, "Thank you very much. Here's your battery. We appreciate it. So sorry for it. For your kindness, here are 2 tickets to the LA Rams game. Enjoy the game. God bless you. Thank you." They went to the LA Rams game. They came home, and nothing was left in the house. They cleaned them up.
Now that's a story.
That's a story. They left nothing but the wax on the floor. That was it.
Oh my God, you had me from beginning to end. I was like just about to say there's still good people in the world,
Right.
and apparently I was wrong.
Yeah.
Yes.
They've been casing their house. They knew. Isn't that something?
That's
I'm going to
crazy.
step on some people here, but I would have expected those to be Raiders tickets. But I mean, that's a difference.
Yeah, we'll edit that part out. Don't worry.
So that was sophistication back in the day.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know
that
what?
is
That's
real.
the scary part is how smart criminals are.
Yeah.
If they could just use their evil for good,
Right.
imagine what they could do with
No
it.
kidding.
It's just
Right.
crazy. But all the thought and work that went into that.
Yep.
That is
I've
a
been watching
lot.
it for a while.
That is
It
a
is.
lot of work.
Yeah.
Yep.
But smart.
Yeah. That's something.
Wow, that's crazy. All right.
Wow.
Well, what do you think?
This is a great show.
I loved it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
David, thank you very much. We really
Thank you,
appreciate
David.
taking the
Thank you,
time
guys.
to do this. Yeah, you've educated us, and we look forward to seeing your company grow.
Thank you
He's
so
gonna do
much,
good
and
things.
keep up the great content. So as I have to tear out mold and go through my crawl spaces, I've got somebody to be there with while I'm doing it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Just play us along.
Awesome, bro.
David Sellinger, again, the company is Deep Sentinel. So definitely go on YouTube, like you said, look at their channel, watch some of the videos, kind of see what's going on, and just reach out to them if you have any questions.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
Dave.
David, thank you very much.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, Jimmy, we've done it again.
Yes, we have.
I don't know what we've done, but we've done something.
Something.
All right, good.
All right.
All right, everybody, see you next week.
See you.
Bye.